Hey, welcome to Craft Central Designs. My name is Dwynn, and today I have for you this beautiful Easter decor piece. I made this one with a farmhouse, rustic country vibe, but this piece has so much versatility. You could make it traditional as well by simply covering the bunny with a white fleece fabric and the eggs with traditional Easter color floral fabrics or even tissue paper. Welcome back to my subscribers and to all visiting my channel today. If you are not currently a subscriber, I hope you will consider becoming one and leave your comments and give this tutorial a thumbs up. Okay, let me show you how I created this Easter decor piece. I did a search on Google for a bunny rabbit silhouette, and I chose this one. I drew it out, looking at the picture, cut it out, and I gave the template to my son, who happens to have a carpentry business. So he used a jigsaw and he cut out the bunny for me. I do have a jigsaw, but he kindly agreed to do it for me. So that was a good thing for me because I'm very busy this week. So I have the bunny. It's about a half-inch thick piece of wood. I also have another piece of wood there that's going to be like the platform or the pedestal for the bunny. And I want to say that's around 14 inches long. I have there some Waverly Snow White chalk paint that I'm going to paint the back of the bunny and also the platform. I have there some Gorilla wood glue that I'm going to attach the bunny to the platform. I picked up this packet of 5 different types of material. It was sold as a packet actually at Hobby Lobby, and all the materials were matched and coordinated, and I just thought it was really a lovely bunch of fabric. That's 18 inches by 22, and so I purchased it as a pack. I have there some Mod Podge, certainly going to be using that, with a sponge applicator. And I have here a collection of trims and ribbons. And I am going to be making a very pretty bow to put on the neck of the bunny. I'm also going to be using those trims and ribbons to decorate the eggs. So most of my ribbons I got from actually Walmart. I believe most all of them are. Maybe a couple are from Hobby Lobby. But I have an assortment of different types of ribbons, different textures, different prints, different patterns. And I also have a 1.5-inch burlap white ribbon there. I have 2 different bunny tails. I ended up using the bunny tail that comes in the package at the Dollar Tree. And I have here 2 different types of florals. Now, one is kind of like a baby's breath, and the other one is just a small flower. It's kind of feels a little bit like paper, but you can use any flower. Just keep it on the small size. You don't want anything too big for this piece. I have there some 4-inch wood eggs that I had gotten at Dollar Tree last year. Now, I didn't end up using those. I'm going to show you in a second what I did use. I have the regular crafting tools, hot glue gun, scissors, Aleene's tacky glue, and a sponge applicator for the painting and for the Mod Podge. I ended up purchasing some wood eggs instead. And I got these at Michael's, but I believe I did see them at Hobby Lobby. You may want to wait until they put their Easter decor on sale at 40% off. That's a Celebrate ribbon, that white burlap. Love, love, love that burlap ribbon. It's from Michael's. And I'm showing you here that Hobby Lobby has a bunny that you could use. You're just going to need to use smaller eggs with this one. It's not quite as big as the one that I drew and cut out, but I absolutely love that little bunny from Hobby Lobby. Again, you may want to wait until Hobby Lobby puts their Easter decor at 40% off. I'm guessing it's going to be very soon. So I'm going to be painting the back side and all the edges, the sides of my bunny with Snow White Waverly chalk paint. Now, I was going to use those eggs, but I ended up, as I mentioned, using the round wood solid eggs. And you can see there that I fully intended to use those eggs, but they turned out to be a little bit too big, and I opted for the eggs that were really shaped like eggs, and they were just the right size for this bunny. Now, I didn't show it, but I put this bunny down on the back of that fabric that you see there. I took a pencil and traced around the bunny, and I cut it out with scissors. Sorry, I thought I videoed that part, but apparently I didn't. But it's very elementary. Just lay the bunny down, take a pencil on the wrong side of the fabric, and just trace around it and then cut it out with scissors. So what you see me doing here now is, you have to decide, by the way, if you want your bunny to be facing which direction. Do you want the head on the left or you want the head on the right? That's a decision that you make. Whatever you do is fine either way. But what I'm doing here now is I'm going to apply Mod Podge in very small sections, and I'm going to apply that fabric to the side of the bunny that is not painted. I painted the back only so the back would not be unsightly. This is a piece that's going to just have a front side. Now, as you can see, I'm carefully placing my fabric on top of my wood cutout, smoothing it out with my fingers as I go. You will not have a bubbling issue or a creasing issue with this fabric. And notice I'm doing everything in small sections. And I really take my time with this part because I want this to look really perfect and smooth on top of that bunny. So I'm very careful to pull my fabric all the way out to the edges. Now, after you get this all applied, it depends on how farmhouse-ish, is that a word? You want this to look. Now, you can take a sanding block or a zip sander, and you can go around the edges and distress this if you want to. I did not do that, but you can do it, and you can actually make the edges, even on the fabric, look just a little bit worn and distressed. That's up to you. What I did with mine was I went around the edges and just trimmed up the edges with scissors. Anything that was extending beyond the perimeter, the outline of that bunny, I just trimmed it off. But again, you do you, whatever you prefer. Now, if you're not that good at sketching something out from looking at a picture, another option might be if you have access to a copier that enlarges. You could just make a copy from the picture and print it out to your copier, and then take it to one of the bigger copiers if you have one at the office or somewhere that's accessible to you. Or you could even take it to a Staples or any Office Depot, any place like that, and you could get them to enlarge it for you. Now, my bunny is about 14 inches tall to the top of the ears, and the bunny from Hobby Lobby is shorter. So what you would do if you want to just get the bunny from Hobby Lobby, which that bunny is so cute, just remember to make your eggs, use a smaller egg. You want to make your eggs compatible with the size of the bunny, so they're not too large or too small. Now, I'm showing you here all of these ribbons that I chose to use for the bow. Now, if you've seen me make 100 bows already, you may want to pass over this part, But for those who have never seen it, I continue to include it in my videos. I have numerous bow tutorials. If you want to refer to my list of videos, you'll find many there, from the most simple single ribbon bows all the way up to more advanced. So I always make my bows the same way. I fold over my loops, twist my ribbon, pinch it in the center. And what I'm doing right now is I am going to take a number, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I used five ribbons on this bow that goes at the neck. I wanted lots of texture, lots of variance in the pattern of my ribbons. And I just wanted that bow to be spectacular, sitting on the neck of my bunny. So pretty much everything on this bunny decor piece is blue and white, with the exception of I'm not sure what you call it's kind of not really a moss. I'll show you in a bit. I'm at a loss for what you actually call it, but I purchased it in the wreath department at Hobby Lobby. I'll show it to you in just a moment. So I'm going to be creating all of these bows, and I'm going to be the wider ribbons I just use a 4-loop bow for that, 2 loops on each side. And then when I use the little bit more narrow bow ribbons that I have there, I use 3 loops on each side, or 6 loops altogether. And I'm just going to be stacking them one on top of another. And there's one of those more narrow ribbons in a pretty blue color that matches that fabric. Sorry, my hand's a little out of frame there. And now I'm back. Okay, so I'm just going to be folding over my loops, twisting, so I always have the right side of the ribbon up. And like I said, on these more narrow ribbons, to sit right on top of the wider ribbons, I'm going to be using 3 loops on each side for this. I'm using craft wire to secure my loops on each of those bows. I usually pick that up at the Dollar Tree, but I have it right there in my hand, and I just use craft wire. Don't use pipe cleaners on these really small ribbons and small bows. The pipe cleaner is a little bit too bulky. So I'm going to do one more, and this one happens to be more of a trim than an actual ribbon. It's very pretty. It's a little bit braided. I actually use this on one of the eggs. So some of these ribbons, you're going to see me use them on the eggs as well. So that really will coordinate beautifully with the color scheme going on this piece. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, you could do this bunny in so many different ways. I could just think of like 20 ways to do this bunny. It's so versatile a piece. You could cover the bunny with a white fleece. You could use a different floral print. You could use polka dots. Oh my gosh, you could just do so many different things. You could use different colors, traditional pinks and yellows and sage green and orchids. Oh, that would be so pretty on the eggs. But I'm here for inspiration, and I always hope that when you see a piece that I do, you think, well, I really like that, but you know what? I think I'd like to change up this and do that and come up with some ideas on your own to kind of alter the piece or just to make it your own. So that's always my goal on any piece that I do, that I share with you. Now for the tail, I ended up using, what I'm doing right now is stacking all of my bows. I'm sorry, my hand is a little out of frame there. I'm sorry about that. For the tail, I ended up using one of those cotton bunny tails that they sell in a package at the Dollar Tree. So what I did was, and I'm not sure at what point that I showed you or didn't show you that, but it's very simple, very elementary. I cut a little slit in the tail, and I hot glued it right to that area on the back of the bunny that has the little curve for the tail. And I just hot glued that right on. I ended up not using the furry tail that I had gotten at Hobby Lobby that I used on my little white furry bunny that I did recently. But they do have bunny tails there, or actually they're just called furry pom-poms. Oh, sorry, someone's car horn is going off. I can't win. Oh my goodness. Okay, good grief. So sorry about that. Okay, so there's there's my bow. Now I did not put a center loop on this bow because what I'm going to do is place some florals in the center of that. But right now I am going to first glue on my bunny. Now I have that piece of wood there, which is about the same thickness as the bunny. And I want to say it's probably maybe 12, 13 inches, maybe 14. But your piece of wood is going to be relative to the bunny that you use. So you want to have a little bit of excess platform on each side of the bunny. And you want to place the bunny toward the back of the platform. And I want to say that wood is about 3 to 4 inches wide. So whatever wood you use, just be sure that you have an area in the front to place your eggs. And here we have these wood eggs. The wood eggs that I'm using are about the size of the palm of my hand. They do have smaller wood eggs if you decide to use the bunny from Hobby Lobby, which is be so cute as well with a smaller egg. So what I'm going to be doing is wrapping my eggs with each of the different fabrics. Now, when you cut out an oval, be sure that you leave about, I want to say, 2 to 3 inches around the egg. Just place it on your fabric, cut it out. Now, you're going to be doing a lot of trimming. You just want to get the basic shape of the egg. So I just roughly cut out an oval. And now I'm placing my egg on there after I placed a good amount of Mod Podge. Now, you will probably see your Mod Podge kind of seep through the fabric, and that's fine. That doesn't matter. It's not going to show. It dries clear. Don't worry about it. So you only want to do sections at a time. So what I did was basically I put Mod Podge on half of my egg. And now you can see how I am working my fabric. I'm pulling, running my hands along it to smooth it out. Now I'm going to add a little more Mod Podge. Now this is messy. I'm not going to lie. This is very messy. See how the Mod Podge seeps through the fabric? That was perfect, really, because it helped me to adhere the fabric even better with the Mod Podge kind of seeping through the fabric. Now I do 1/2 of the egg at a time, just pulling, smoothing, pulling, smoothing. You have to have the patience to sit there and do that. Now, you're going to get to a point where you're to the back side, and there will be a seam, but no worries because that seam is never going to show. So your goal is going to be to get the top half of your egg looking as smooth as possible. Now, this is an egg. There is no way to avoid a little bit of creasing, but your goal, again, is just going to be getting it as smooth as you can. See how I do a section at a time? Smooth it, pull it. You can see the Mod Podge coming through the fabric. That really helped to get that fabric to smooth onto that egg. I rather enjoyed doing this. I don't know, for some reason I just had a really good time covering my eggs. Now, when you get to the point where you have all this fabric, you're going to cut slits. This is going to help you to press down the rest of that fabric. Any of the fabric that you see that is definitely going to be excess fabric, go ahead and trim it away because you don't want to have to be dealing with any more fabric than you absolutely have to at this point. So you can see I'm working my Mod Podge onto the egg, and now I'm going to take those little slit sections that I cut. See how I'm smoothing them down? This is how you're going to finish the back of your egg. And again, like I said, no worries about the back of the egg. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not even going to see it because when you put your eggs on your platform, you're going to place them with that seam down. Also, you're going to be decorating them as well with trim and ribbons. That is, if you follow this tutorial. But when you see how really cute they are decorated, you're probably going to want to do it. No matter what colors you use, it just really looks really, really beautiful. Okay, see how that's smoothed out? Okay, now I'm going to do the other half of the egg. And I'm going to cut slits, but I'm going to go around. Make sure that I'm not cutting off too much. Just keep your scissors handy. See how I make sure that I'm going to be able to cover the rest of the egg, but I can see as well that I have a little excess. You're just going to be guesstimating this shape of your fabric, but I would say you want at least, just to be safe, maybe 3 inches on each side of the egg when you place it down on top of the fabric. Doesn't have to be a perfect shape, just so you have enough to cover your fabric. Now, if you were working with a little tiny print on your fabric, you could get away with cutting strips of fabric and then just laying it across, and you really wouldn't be able to tell much. But these fabrics that I'm using have a bit more of a larger print, so I had to really go with trying to work my fabric on in one solid piece. And now I'm using my Mod Podge and taking those pieces of fabric that I just cut the slits, pressing it down, and finishing off the back of the egg. See how I get rid of any fabric that's too much, and how I cut slits on my fabric, and this works like a charm to get that egg finished and covered. And like I said, be prepared to be covered with your hands covered in Mod Podge. It's kind of necessary to get this egg just right. And then after I get pretty much everything pressed down, I kind of seal it with a little bit of Mod Podge, which you just saw me doing there. Now this is how you're going to do all 4 eggs. Now if you do the smaller bunny, of course you'll have smaller eggs. But I'm showing you here, I did all of my eggs, and I'm going to decorate them, and it is so much fun. Now I have different prints, and that one egg, which is up on the far left, up at the top, that one actually had a larger print, a floral print, and I'm not adding anything to that egg because it already is busy enough as it is. And I think that if I added a ribbon, it would ruin the floral print on the egg. So what I'm going to do now is start to decorate my eggs. And I'm going to use hot glue. And you do you. Decide how you want your eggs. I used 2 pieces of trim on that one and a pretty ribbon. That's a floral looking lace. There's that one with just the solid floral print. And this one got a bow. Oh my gosh, I love that. I did an Easter ribbon last season. It's on my channel. It's a black and white gingham check with some pink. I decorated all of my eggs with bows. Look it up in my playlist. It's so pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to take the florals that I chose. Again, you can use any kind of floral that you like. Just make sure it's a very small bloom. I also have that right there, which looks kind of like a baby's breath. And those are the 2 florals that I'm going to use on this piece. What I'm going to be doing first is applying a couple of those blue flowers right in the center of my bow. And I am going to make this bow so pretty by applying those blooms along with a few pieces of that floral that looks like baby's breath in white. And I'm just going to hot glue those in. I will be trimming up my tails once I get it on the bunny. And speaking of getting it on the bunny, I am going to put it on. Now I place my bow toward the back of the neck. I don't want it poking into the nose or too far forward on the neck. Notice where I place it, right there. Now it's going to be peeking up over the back of the bunny, and I think that's a beautiful look. And so I place my bow on the bunny with the hot glue. And at this point, I'm going to start pulling my tails and arranging them and trimming up the tails, arranging the loops on the bow because I want that bow to look very pretty sitting on my bunny. I do go around and trim up my tails at different lengths. I angle my tails. I don't dovetail on narrow ribbons like this. And there is that bag of, what is that called? Excelsior? Is that what it says? Yes, I think that's what it says. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I got that in the floral department at Hobby Lobby. And I thought it was a good kind of a little nest for the Easter eggs. So I pulled off a section of that and just kind of stretched it out and got just enough to cover the platform. And I kind of made it go a little bit around the sides where the bunny tail is going to be. And then I just simply take some hot glue once I have it kind of collected on the platform. And I'm just going to hot glue that. And it stays very nicely, especially after I put the wood eggs on there. Okay, moving right along. Oh, it's time to put those beautiful eggs on the platform. Now, play around with it a bit. See how you want to position your eggs. For my first egg, I placed it on the end, kind of pointing outward, and I placed my hot glue on the seam of the egg. So now anything that's unsightly as far as the seam is now completely hidden. Now you can use your bunny as well as your other eggs to hot glue to make sure they're secure on the piece. So I position my next egg. There I am on the back side where the seam is. And I kind of tilt it a little bit. You position your eggs the way you like. This is the way I did mine. Now, watch how I'm attaching one egg to the next. You see, this helps to keep everything in place. And it also is attached a little bit to the body of the bunny. So here I am, just deciding where I want to place everything. Hot glue on the seam, pretty side out. And again, using my bunny. And last but not least, I'm going to put my last egg on. And make sure that when you cut your wood platform for your piece, that you make it long enough so that you have room to position your eggs. You want it a little bit longer on each side than your bunny. Any straggling pieces of that Excelsior, is that what it's called? My goodness, I don't think I've ever named that before. But just trim it up is what I'm trying to say. Okay, now I'm going to take any of my leftover little blue flowers and the other floral that I have, and I'm just going to position little blooms around the eggs. And this just looks so pretty. These flowers are very dainty. They're very small. So you don't want anything to be overpowering for the eggs. You don't want big blooms, is what I'm trying to say, next to your eggs, or big flowers. You want them to be tiny. I'm going to be creating a 4-loop bow. Twist my ribbon, fold it over, pinch it in the center. Again, bow tutorials, I have them. Twist the ribbon, fold it over. I'm going to create a 4-loop bow with one single loop going down the center. I'm going to use a pipe cleaner because this is a white burlap ribbon. Absolutely one of my favorite ribbons in the world. I use it so much. I'm going to create a center loop going right down the center of my bow. This bow is going to be placed on the platform on the very end. I'm trying to balance out the piece because the tail is on one end, and I wanted to kind of balance it out with the bow on the other end. So I have my 4-loop bow there, one single loop going right down the center. I'm going to be gluing that bow right to the platform, and I'm going to be placing it right up there on the end. And it looks like I did put the bunny tail on. I'm sorry, I guess I thought I videoed it, and apparently I didn't, but look how pretty this is. Oh my goodness, I love this. I'm going to show you here. There's the bunny tail. It's simple. Glue it on. It was elementary. Look at the beautiful bow. I am just crazy for this piece. I hope you love it too. Let me know what you think of this one. And be thinking how you could make it, but make it your own. Maybe in beautiful pastel Easter colors. Oh, I love this. So much fun to make. And such a beautiful Easter decor piece for your home, or you could make it for a gift. Love this one. And I hope you do too. And here you have it. One final look. If you like what you see on this tutorial and you're not currently a subscriber, I hope you will become one. I have lots of Easter decor coming up, some really beautiful pieces. Okay, so until next time, you all take care.